You're listening to Local Music Hype. This is Amy and Lauri talking to you from BRIMBANK Live on Live FM. Today, we have local musician Bella with us. Hey, Bella Rose, how are you?
Yo, I'm Bella Rose. Nice to meet you.
So, how are you feeling with this pandemic? How's it affecting your writing, your inspiration?
Well, I've been writing a lot more about stuff like going into dreams or kind of being a little bit more supportive with people. I've been kind of in a bit more of a kind of, I don't know, I'm more worried about people, especially with their mental state. So I've been writing more songs about trying to give comfort to people who are affected really quite a lot with this pandemic, and people who may not be, but that type of thing, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. How have you been finding your motivation and keeping that up and still finding a way to be like, I know I don't have to get out of bed today, but I probably should.
Truth to be told, it's a little difficult.
Yeah.
But I'm still in high school, so I have to get after school to do online school. So that's been probably a motivation kind of thing to be like, I have to get out of bed today, you know?
How is online school going?
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's quite strange. I don't know. Because I have a home computer, so I work off my computer, so it's weird being in the same space as my studio and my bedroom, but also in a kind of having to have a school mindset. So it's weird.
You get distracted by everything around you, and yeah, it's like, I could be playing music.
I could be doing it.
I could be walking my dog.
And oftentimes I actually am. I'm like, I'm meant to be in school, meant to be studying, but I'm actually off to the side working on music, like either working on lyrics or like melodies and stuff like that. So it's weird.
All right. So where do you draw your inspiration from? Where do you think, like, we know now during this, it's like a time of comfort, you're trying to write, but in the past, what's it been about?
It's been quite a lot about my personal experiences and the things that I've gone through, and I vent through my music in a little bit, and I talk a lot about the things that I feel comfort from or I feel really worried about, that type of thing, and that kind of thing, you know.
And who do you find are your musical inspirations? Is there any specific artists that you look up to?
There's quite a lot, like Andy Grammer, Vera Blue, and the Pop Etc. are also some really good artists. Halsey as well, recently as well. I'm getting inspired by Halsey. So yeah, there's quite a lot of musicians that I draw inspiration from. Actually, if I showed you my Spotify playlist, like my private one, you'd see there's like 700 songs on there. There's a lot.
I found like building those playlists now has become like a hobby of mine.
Oh, really?
You just gotta find the vibes, you know.
Gotta find the vibes. There's one that I have called "Slow Nights for Slow Days." Kind of, that's one.
That is a mood.
Yeah, I know, right? So I have like in that playlist, I just have songs that are like slow jam kind of stuff that I listen to when I'm like at home. It's the best feeling if it's raining too. That's a plus.
Oh yes, the time has always got to be 10 out of 10 for creativity. All right, so for your first song that we're going to throw to a bit later, it's Self-Love.
Yeah, Self-Love.
What would you say is your, like, how did that come about? What was the production like? What was the writing like?
That one was, well, I was in a program called Yo Music, and it's still running. It's for teens who are female and non-binary. So it was a really good program when I joined, and it still is. I say that like it's a bad thing, but it's not, I swear. But we got paired into mentors with other people of our age, and we got to work in things. And Self-Love was the song that I composed as my own composition. And because I came in as an alumni to the program, and they were recording a full-length album, and so they wanted a band formed from past members of the program. So they asked me, hey, do you want to come in and work on a song with your your other bandmates? And I was like, yeah, sure, that would sound awesome. The idea for self-love came to me because at the time I was going through a bit of a rough time. So I was like, I wanted to write a song that talked about like liking who you are for you kind of thing, like not to worry so much about how other people thought of you. And that's how, you know what I mean? Like it's understanding that your complexities, your flaws, they aren't bad things to have. They're a part of you, and you need to learn, and it's better to accept them rather than to reject them. So
yeah, that's really, really beautiful.
Yeah.
So with the Yo program, you discussed being an alumni. So what's that like? Have you maintained relationships with people from there? Have you done many collabs or?
I do sometimes talk with some of the band members. When I'm recently, Lily Harris from Hot Glue released an EP called, and it's a really, really good track. It's a really good set of tracks on there. I sometimes listen to it, and yeah, I sometimes talk to older members of other members of past work participants, but it's really hard keeping up with them because either they're working or in university or doing all these other things. And I'm also doing other things. So it's very hard for me to keep in contact with them. But I also do try to, and I also try to keep in contact with the mentors as well. So
in terms of your music as a broader sense, because I know that like whenever you're writing, it always ends up being a different product to what you visioned in the first place. Or like the genre just changes or something. Like what would you say your like main genres are? Where do you find yourself always drifting to?
I feel it's always ballads. For some reason, I always turn to ballads, like really slow songs, really like indie kind of pop music with a little lo-fi crackle in the background. So it's like recently I've been trying to break out a little bit that kind of thing that I've got myself into, but I've also been getting a bit into sound design. So I've been adding like little percussion-y pieces and little like bits that you would think, where did that sound come from, kind of ideas. But I still fall into the habit of getting into slow songs,
Have you found that like it's so much easier to write sad songs than it is happy songs?
Yeah, it's so weird. I was
a trap.
I know it's a trap. I was thinking about this to myself a couple of days ago. I'm like, I wanted to make more happy songs, and every time I did, I would always end up with a sad progression, or like it was insane. I finally figured out the best way to make happy songs is to have a melody first, and then having the chord progression and other stuff fall into place after that. So
I think I'm going to try that. Or just use a ukulele. There's always the option. Grab a ukulele.
You can never make songs with ukulele sound sad.
Hey, I have accomplished that.
Oh, really?
Do not underestimate my sadness. All right, so do you want to talk a bit more about self-love? Because we're going to throw to it in a second.
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about self-love. That's awesome.
As a whole, what do you think about like I guess how you see yourself? How does that come out in your music? Who are you trying to portray yourself as?
I try to portray myself as genuinely as I can. Like for example, I don't use auto-tune in my songs at all. Like I prefer that. To me, it feels like sometimes when I do use auto-tune, when I actually don't. But if I do have the option of using auto-tune, I don't like using it because it feels like I'm trying to kind of show and like only one side of myself, like trying to portray myself as this perfect person when in reality I'm not. I have a lot of flaws. I'm not a perfect person. Like if you saw my room, it'd be super messy. So I
definitely relate.
So I try to so I try to show the most authentic person I can be, the most genuine person I can be, even if that means I show a lot of the flaws that I have. And because, nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? Like everybody's got one thing that they dislike about themselves or one thing that they choose not to show. And I try to show as much as myself as I can,
What advice would you, sorry, the alarm for the music one.
What advice would you give to someone about being more loving and kind to themselves? What kind of practices do you do? Do anything like meditation or drawing or, I don't know, breaking some plates?
I do. I sketch a lot as well. And I think it's all about trying to kind of go into yourself, like trying to ask the questions of, oh, what's the reason why I do this? What's the reason why I do that? And kind of, it's kind of looking inside yourself and questioning the ways that you act. And you know what, it's that kind of thing. It's like, it's just questioning and or letting it out in any way that you can. Like, you can use a punching bag if you're frustrated, or or you can draw the most abstract art you can, like that above there was
just let it flow.
Also the drip painting, I'm like, I want to put I put all these colors in, I'm like squash it around, and it's like it kind of explores the things that you don't really talk about yourself.
Yeah, so right now we're going to throw to Bella Rose's song, Self-Love. This is Local Music Hype with Amy and Lauri, and we are on Live FM on BRIMBANK Live.
Just put away your negativity. Oh, please accept your complexity. Criteria is never simplicity, but so many kids sacrifice democracy. Never comes with fluidity. What I mean is specifically, it's a hate it takes so much mentally. I'll do it only, but I take a toll on me physically. Feel it disappear, everything that I know. Feel my heart break in two. Oh, cause of you. I let myself forget who I was. I let myself forget my true self. Now I know to accept it all. Accept it all. Mine using this hesitation. It's any mission. I just believe wish to have a drive, no wasting time away from who I am inside. Feel it disappear, everything that I know. Feel my heart break in two. Oh, cause of you. I let myself forget who I was. I let myself forget my true self. Now I know to accept it all. Complexity, your complexity. So beautiful, so wonderful. Complexity, your complexity. So beautiful, so wonderful. I feel it coming back. All the things that I want, pieces of my mind. Oh, practice on me, babe. I let myself forget who I was. Forget my true self. Now I know to accept it all. Feel it coming back. All the things that I want, pieces of my mind. Don't practice on me, babe. I let myself forget who I was. I let myself forget my true self. Now I know to accept it all.
That was Self-Love by Bella Rose, the local musician we have with us today. This is Local Music Hype with Lauri and Amy. You are listening to BRIMBANK Live on Live FM. Now, first off, Bella, I want to bring back your attention to a story of your sister's 16th birthday party. Now, that day was very interesting. I'm going to blank out certain parts, but we actually had a jam session. We ran away from the party, went into Bella's old studio, and just went off. Bella grabbed the mic, I grabbed the guitar, and we had a good jam session. I think that really opened me up to your music and like how raw it was, because straight away you just had the melody lines going. You showed me your songbook, your lyrics, and like that was a huge inspiration to me, because I'm thinking, wow, this person is so open with their music. So I think I've really tried to encompass that in my music as well. So you're a big inspiration for me. I just wanted to say that.
Oh my god. Oh, I remember that now.
Yes. Fun night.
Oh my god.
Damn, I want to see the recordings from that. I want to see all the stuff you guys produce.
Oh goodness, no.
Oh, that touches me right here. You have no idea just hearing that. Oh.
When we had the idea for this show, the first thought was, got to get Bella on it.
Really?
Yes.
Oh wow, that really hits you, man. That hits you real bad.
Okay, so we're gonna continue with the questions. So in terms of like production, because I'm very much into audio production, I'm a tech nerd.
Yeah.
How would you describe your experience with like DAWs? How do you find your audio sources? Like, what are you using to create that like environment in your music?
Well, I use a lot of plugins, as in like Reverb, and I use Ableton Live. So I still call myself a baby producer.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of things I don't know about the program, so I'm constantly learning about things. I'm constantly questioning, like, how can I do this type of stuff better? My production process is basically figure stuff out. It's really
learn as you go.
Learn as I go, yeah.
Wing it.
Yeah, winging it is a good way to describe it.
I think that completely describes a songwriting experience. Just go for it.
Go for it. Like if you just you can just like you can experiment. Music is always about experimenting, always about challenging the things that you've previously done, like building upon the things that you've previously done, you know. Let's go.
So I know that all three of us know each other in real life, which is pretty cool. We get to interview you now. You get to hype up our friends. I am autistic, and I was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, ASD, when I was a bit younger. And I know you also are. And so I was wondering, how does that affect your music and your creativity, and what's facing the stigma against that like?
I feel like in creatively wise, I can be a very focus orientated person. Like I can sit at my computer screen working on music until like at one time I remember starting my music at like 12 something, and then I finishing at 12, so like 12 to 12 it was and I spent that amount of time in the studio, and yeah, I it's interesting.
Yeah, that sounds pretty intense.
Yeah, it's very intense. I've gotten into some very, very intense music sessions, just in studio sessions, being like, oh my god, I'm so interested in this, and to the point where I was sometimes my parents or my mom comes into the room and goes, Bella, it's like, how long have you been working in the studio for? You need to have lunch, or you need to have dinner, or you need to have breakfast. And I'm like, I need to work on this though because it's so cool. Stigma wise, I feel like I don't really broadcast that I'm autistic that often. Like I don't really show it quite often in public, but I can be very excited. My emotions can be very, very large, or they can be like, it's always like very explosive. So I've had points where I have gotten stares before, being like all really happy and being like, yeah, like, you know, like just like showing who I am. And then yeah, I've gotten that type of thing before, but nobody's outright told me, oh, you're super weird, you're super bizarre. But I have gotten stares before, so yeah.
It's good that you're mostly able to surround yourself with people who support you and are happy for you.
Yeah, I know that it can be I know in some cases, and there's actually quite a lot of cases where people who are diagnosed with AD or have ASD or have other things that they go through, I know that sometimes people aren't really supportive with that, and I know that's a lot of the cases, and I feel for them because I have that situation. I'm in that place where I have supportive friends, supportive family, and I feel for those people that don't have that. So, you know, it's really sad to see, and I don't like seeing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like with all the programs that you do and all the places that you go, you're probably making a lot of change in some people's lives who you also might not know are not feeling too supported. Yeah, it sounds like you're making a lot of difference.
I try to. I hope to.
We have a little question here for you. It's a very serious one, so prepare yourself.
Okay.
If you had a boat, what would you name it?
A boat.
A boat.
I don't
Any
know.
type of boat you want.
Any type of boat I wanted. Okay. The SS Stream.
Oh, that's beautiful. I like that. I like it. I would say your music as well has a very like dreamy vibe. It's very like it could drift you off to sleep. I love it.
I've actually gotten a couple comments of people saying that my music's very relaxing to them, or
it is, yeah.
Or it makes them they're really happy listening to it, even though it can be sad. And I'm like that. Every time I get comments like that, I'm like, yes.
I think even when it's sad, you know, if the listener hears it and they're like, "Yep, I feel that," then you know it just brings out this sort of like validating happiness.
Definitely.
So the next song we're going to throw to is Here For You by Bella Rose. Anything you want to say about that one?
Here For You. I actually wrote that song in about, 2 days? I was a very, very fast song. It was a spontaneous song, actually. I usually when I release song, I finish it well into the advance of the publication, but I finished that song after mixing it and mastering it. I'm like, I gotta release this like right now. So funny story, I begged my dad, who sometimes helps me with this type of stuff. I'm like, Dad, I need to take this album cover. So can you come out with me and take this photo? I took it in front of a tree that's near my house, but it was very spontaneous. I'm like, I need to do this, and that's why it came out. I came out on like Wednesday. And I'm like, will anybody listen to it? And like because it was so spontaneous, it was like, huh?
Well, a lot of people are going to listen to it now. That's
true. So yeah, it's a very spontaneous thing for me to do. But I really enjoyed writing it. The lyrics I feel like they were very inspired by what was happening at the moment. Kind of the expression that because I know a lot of people are in isolation at the moment, so I know that a lot of people can be quite lonely. So, but you know, the point of my song was that there's always a way for you to talk about how you're feeling. Like even if there's nobody physically there, you can talk to them via like I don't know, Zoom, for example, or Facebook, or texting, or even the stars. You know.
All right, so where can our listeners hype you up? What are your socials?
My socials. Oh, okay. My Instagram is I am Bella Rose. And my Twitter is Bella Rose _TWT. Really weird, but that's it. You can find me on Facebook, Bella Rose .official music. There's also, I'm on YouTube as well. If you search up Bella Rose music, you can find me. I'm pretty much everywhere. If you know how to search, it's like either I'm on Triple J as well. If you want to see that, yeah.
All right, so you've been listening to Local Music Hype with Lauri and Amy. We're on BRIMBANK Live on Live FM with Bella Rose. So we're going to throw to your next song, Here For You. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Into the deep night, nameless stars whisper soft words, humming tinny notes with the moon. It's a symphony, a harmony, a harmony. calls or no answer on a slow night, beeping loud and clear in the soft light. It's alright, it's alright. Tell the stars tonight. When you're all alone and weary, when you're sitting at home all teary, and no one picks up the phone, just tell the stars they'll hear your scars. Softly, carefully, also quietly, they'll say it's alright, alright. Into the deep night, nameless stars whisper soft words, humming tiny notes with the moon. It's a symphony, a harmony. So I wonder why your tears are falling down so quickly. For you it feels all alone. There's so many stars above, they whisper that they're here for you. Even when you think it isn't true, they're here for you. The days get longer and the evenings get shorter, counting every minute, second, hour. While we count them down on our fingertips, so well may soon to take a slip and dip. Oh, but you're constant, yes, you're constant. It's those glittering stars at night. So if you're lonely staring up above, just whisper how you feel. Oh, 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 oh. For you who feels all alone, there's so many stars above, they whisper that they're here for you. Even when you think it isn't true. Stars whisper soft words, humming tiny notes with the moon. It's a symphony, a harmony. So I wonder why your tears are falling down so quickly. Do you feel all alone? There's so many stars above,